A key member of the mysterious Four Horsemen magic clique steps up during a wealthy woman's auction and introduces himself to the audience, reminding them that he is their personal favorite of them all. Seconds later, he announces to the audience that he is going to make the heart-shaped diamond appear on his palm. The lady calls his bluff as she believes her glass casing is secure and that the horseman cannot get to it. However, the horseman gives her a run for her money by intentionally mentioning some random magical words and then opening it when she least expects it. As the glass opens up, the rich woman is slightly taken aback, but seeing as the heart diamond is still in the case, she picks it up and smiles, telling everyone that it is safe with her. Moments after, the heart diamond shatters in her hand. This shocks everyone. But right then, the horseman pulls the real diamond out of his hand. Seeing everything unfold, the rich woman calls all her security men to stop the horseman, but unfortunately, it's already too late. J. Daniel Atlas, a renowned magician and a member of the famous Four Horsemen, stands in front of an audience who have come to watch them perform at Bushwick. He makes it known that it has been a decade since the horsemen last appeared and lets them know that the horsemen are back. Moments later, the rest of the quartet, Merritt McKinney, Jack Wilder, and Henley Reeves, appear and get applauded. Amongst the crowd, a certain man, Brett Finnegan, talks shit about magicians, not knowing that some of the masterminds of the day's event, June and Charlie, are there, and he is soon to be a victim. Back on stage, Daniel gives instructions to the audience to pull out their playing cards, which they received, and Henley tells them to shuffle their cards with a random person nearby twice. After carrying out Daniel's and Henley's instructions, Daniel points towards a woman in the crowd and asks her which card she has. The woman replies to Daniel that she has an ace of diamonds. Hearing this, Daniel asks if there is any other person in the crowd with the same card, and a young man named Bosco, unknown to the crowd, responds that he is in on the trick. Moments later, Henley tells Bosco to come up on stage, as he is going to be the fifth horseman for the night. Once Bosco's up on stage, Merritt hypnotizes him to sleep. After that, all four horsemen channel their entities into Bosco's body to become one. With all five of them present in one body, the magic show begins. Bosco regains consciousness, and Daniel is the first to speak through his body. Before long, Merritt asks if there is a man named Brett Finnegan in the crowd. Once Brett replies to him, Merritt begins to bring up some uncomfortable facts about how he took people's money in a crypto scam. Brett is stunned as Merritt can't know what he knows if he doesn't have his phone. Just then, Brett checks himself, realizes that his phone is missing, and then sees it in Bosco's hands. Jack, speaking through Bosco, tells Brett he has to be more careful, as he knows sleight of hand. Once the stunt is over, the four horsemen reappear and let Bosco go. Soon enough, Daniel gives another instruction to the crowd, telling them to pour their drink on the playing cards that they have. This process reveals a unique 12-word phrase, which is the password to each and every person's new crypto wallet, where the horsemen have redistributed Brett Finnegan's stolen money. Not long after revealing the phrases, a woman in the crowd is elated after finding $50,000 in her wallet. As the crowd goes wild with cheers, the four horsemen vanish from sight, ending the magic show for the night. As soon as the horsemen vanish, Brett rushes on stage, and there he discovers a projector and knows that the magicians were never really in the building. The swindler has been swindled. Later that night, the masterminds of the evening's event, Bosco, June, and Charlie, are seen outside, elated about a successful magical heist on the crypto guy, Brett Finnegan, by impersonating the original Four Horsemen, using a holographic projection of them. When the trio gets back to their lair, June empties her stack of cash, and Bosco tells Charlie to turn off the projections of Daniel Atlas in the room. After turning off the projections, the real Daniel speaks to them. Charlie is surprised and thinks his friends are playing tricks on him, and asks them about where the other projector is, but soon enough, they all realize that it is the real Daniel standing before them. After this realization dawns on them, Charlie asks Daniel how he was able to find them, to which Daniel replies that it took him no time, and neither would it take the police much effort to do so as well, because of the heist that they just pulled. Daniel talks with the group and lets them know how impressive they have been, while still needing some work on their craft. Daniel tells them that he sees why the eye sent him to them. Daniel adds that he received a card at his apartment 3 weeks before that time, along with 4 plane tickets with instructions for a trick bigger and better than anything that the trio had ever seen. After stating that he and the other members of the Four Horsemen have gone their separate ways, and realizing that Daniel needs them, Bosco initially refuses, replying to him that they are doing just fine on their own and do not need his help, which Charlie and June object to. Daniel makes a move to walk away before Charlie tells him to wait a bit, so that he and the other two can talk about it, and after a bit of deliberation, Bosco agrees with Charlie and June to work with Daniel. Limpopo, South Africa, Veronica Vanderberg welcomes everyone to the celebration of the Vanderberg's new diamond mine, C3. Later on, Veronica has a meeting with board members, assuring them that the mine will produce. She tells the board members that if there are no more questions for her, she would like to hit Antwerp with her price list and show off the stones they have. Elsewhere in Antwerp, Belgium, the trio of Charlie, Bosco, and June can be seen with Daniel as he gives them the details about their plans and how they have 3 days to prepare for it. Daniel lets them know that the most valuable jewel in history, the Heart Diamond, which is also the foundation of the Vandenberg Mining Corporation, is going to be at Antwerp in 3 days for an auction. Moments later, June asks Daniel what makes the Heart Diamond so special that they have to steal it. Daniel tells the 3 youngins that the Vandenberg family has been selling the diamonds at inflated prices to many bad people, and helping them to launder their money in the process. Daniel lets them know that a group of good people who call themselves the Eye, who sent him the card, wants them to steal the diamond and do some justice in the process. 3 days later, on the day of the auction, and while preparing for the night's event, Veronica Vandenberg asks her security guy, Lethabo Koza, about a photographer from Vanity Fair. After Lethabo mentions his name to be Mark Schreiber, Veronica tells him that he is what she wants and that others should be cancelled. Soon, Veronica receives a phone call from a strange number telling her that he knows her secrets and that, in exchange for his silence, Veronica is going to give the Heart Diamond to him. Outside the venue of the auction, the 4 magicians enact their plans. June swaps the welcome tag for the photographer, Mark Schreiber, being held by one of the hotel's butlers, with something else, and smoothly passes it to Charlie, who then gives it to Bosco to hold. Soon enough, Mark Schreiber arrives and heads Bosco's way, who leads him towards the hotel. Inside the hotel, Veronica comes down a flight of stairs looking dazzling to welcome her guests just as the auction's about to start. As soon as she gets to the ground floor, Daniel approaches her and makes himself familiar to her, and from their conversation, Veronica initially thinks that Daniel is the strange man who gave her a call earlier. Moments later, after discussing further with Daniel, she lets him go after offering him hospitality, and goes into another room for her photo shoot. There, she sees a man whom she thinks is Mark Schreiber and greets him, not knowing that the man is secretly Bosco in disguise. Eventually, Veronica greets Bosco, who is cosplaying as Mark, and urges him to get on with it quickly, as the auction is to start not too long from that time. June does Veronica's makeup up, and as soon as she is done with it, Bosco takes a few pictures of Veronica before signaling to Charlie to enact their plan. Charlie tilts the photography umbrella in such a way that it reflects on the diamond, causing poor shots to be taken by the photographer, as there would be glare on the photo. Bosco tells Veronica about it, and why he won't go any further unless the diamond is taken out of its security casing. Lethabo, her security, instantly refuses, but after Bosco insists, Veronica gives him the go-ahead to open the casing. Veronica picks up the diamond and poses with it, and after a few shots, her patience wears thin, and she ends the photo shoot, letting Bosco, whom she thinks is Mark, know that if he is as good as it's made to be known, he should already have enough shots of her and the diamond. She excuses herself, making it known that she has buyers waiting. The trio quickly switches outfits and heads into the auction room. In the next scene, Veronica takes off the cloth covering the glass case housing the Heart Diamond to the astonishment of the potential buyers. Moments later, Bosco comes towards them to protest and cause a scene, which leads to a distraction in a bid to get the Heart Diamond from Veronica. In that very moment, Daniel Atlas introduces himself to the audience, and, after performing a trick for them, he successfully steals the Heart Diamond from its casing and begins to run away from Veronica's security team. In that moment, Jack Wilder appears, surprising Daniel and letting him know that he also got a card from the Eye like his. Soon enough, they team up with Henley and Merritt, the other members of the 4 Horsemen, who also got a card and are in the auction house as well. The 7 magicians get away using a zip line to the other side of the city and make it into a boat, escaping Veronica's security detail in the process. After the ordeal, Veronica tries to think of how the diamond was stolen, and soon enough, she and Lethabo realize that the magicians swapped the case and not the diamond, making it very easy to steal. In the next scenes, the entire theft process is shown, before Veronica tells Lethabo that they are going to make the magicians regret their actions. In the midst of all the happenings, the real Mark Schreiber appears, asking what he missed, to the surprise of Veronica, who realizes she has been fooled. Back on the getaway boat, the 4 horsemen catch up after having been incommunicado for a long time. Soon enough, Merritt and Jack decide to leave, dropping their cards in the process due to the history that left a bitter taste between them all. Before anyone could leave, June made it known that they had the Heart Diamond and asked what the Eye wanted from them next. With no one else knowing what to do next, Charlie observes something on the cards that were earlier dropped and asks Daniel Atlas to bring his card out as well. When Charlie puts them all together, they form a map to a building, Chateau Roussillon, in France. With this revelation, they realize that they have to stick together and see things through to the end. Sometime later, when they arrive at the building in France, June solves the puzzle of the door at the entrance, granting them access inside the building, filled with many magical and trickery objects. The group solves yet another puzzle and is granted access further into the building, where they eventually meet with Thaddeus Bradley, a man who has been acquainted with the Horsemen for a very long time. Jack asks Thaddeus if he was the one who sent the cards, but he replies negatively, letting them know that he also received a card some weeks prior to that time, warning him to prepare the chateau for the arrival of the 7 of them. They ask Thaddeus why the Eye wants them there, and Thaddeus responds, telling them that whatever it is that the Eye wants, they will find the answer in the chateau, the former home of the Eye. Elsewhere, Veronica receives another phone call from the same strange man who called her before the auction began, telling her to recover the heart diamond and bring it to Abu Dhabi, where he would also bring his evidence against her. Shortly after the call, Veronica asks Lethabo if he has found the Horsemen yet. After realizing that the Horsemen have been spotted in France, Veronica tells Lethabo to call the head of the French police, as he owes her, and tell him to get the Horsemen for her. Back at the chateau, the Horsemen and the trio of Charlie, June, and Bosco split up, moving around the building in a bid to figure out why the Eye wanted them there. Soon, they all converge in a room after searching, where they show off their skills and trickery. Moments later, an idea comes to Charlie, and soon enough, they figure out the reason they are at the chateau. Thaddeus makes it known that the Eye wants them to unmask the Vanderbergs, bringing down 2 generations of criminals, with a single sleight of hand. Charlie discovers more disturbing facts about the Vanderbergs online, and as they spoke, they were interrupted by the sirens of the French police approaching the building. Immediately, Thaddeus tells the group to split up and find a way out of the chateau. Soon enough, the police gain entry into the building, split up, and catch up to the magicians. They engage in a fight with the police, and eventually, they escape at that moment. The police meet Thaddeus Bradley, alone in a room, and when he tries to escape using a trick, they shoot at him, but he vanishes. Outside the room Thaddeus was in, the police arrested Merritt, Jack, and June. When Thaddeus reappears and the other fleeing magicians see him, he goes down as the bullet from the police officer's gun had hit him earlier. He tells his companions that they have to stop Veronica and leave him alone there, as they do not need him but need each other, all 7 of them. After speaking with them, Thaddeus dies, leaving the group sad, and moments later, they flee the building to avoid being caught by the French police. Sometime later, the group reappears, and they talk about their arrested colleagues and how to get them out. They come up with a plan for a jailbreak by involving a woman called Lula, an old member of the Horsemen. Elsewhere at the police station, Veronica visits Merritt in jail, and after speaking with him, he makes it known that taking her down is now personal to him, after she killed Thaddeus at the chateau. Merritt spills her secrets from many years back about killing her housekeeper for having an affair with her father, which made her mother commit suicide. Shortly after hearing enough, Veronica leaves Merritt alone. Elsewhere inside the police station, a police officer struggles with an old woman and takes her in the direction of where Jack and Merritt are being held, while also passing beside Veronica and June. When the old woman gets close and confirms the presence of the 2 horsemen, she enacts her plan, fooling the police officer and making him run to get help. When the police officer arrives where his colleagues are and raises an alarm for help for the old woman, June uses the opportunity to slip away from Veronica. Moments later, the old woman, who is revealed to be Lula, one of the horsemen, frees Merritt and Jack. Needing Jack's help to hotwire a getaway car, they separate from Merritt, who is to look for June while they make their way outside the building. Back inside the police station, June kicks the ass of 2 police officers trying to stop her from escaping, before Lethabo comes to grab her from behind. Merritt arrives just in time to smack Lethabo on the face, and as soon as Lethabo raises a gun at Merritt, he asks June to run, takes on Lethabo before knocking him out, and sends him to sleep in the process. Moments later, Veronica walks into the room with more policemen and takes Merritt into custody, as she plans to use him as a bargaining tool to get her heart diamond back from the Horsemen. Elsewhere, Lula, June, and Jack reunite with the others, and Charlie makes it known that Veronica is going to be in Abu Dhabi, as Vanderberg Global has a motorsport team, which they would be introducing a new car to in Abu Dhabi on that weekend. The group of magicians makes plans to go there to get Merritt back and expose Veronica. While on a plane to Abu Dhabi, the magicians make up plans to put on a magic show to use against Veronica when they get there. When the group of magicians arrives in Abu Dhabi, the announcement of the show rolls out not too far from where Veronica is. Lula asks if the announcement will get Veronica's attention, to which Jack replies, letting her know that he doesn't know what else will happen if that doesn't do it. Moments later, Veronica calls Daniel, and Daniel asks her if she is enjoying the show they are putting up. Veronica tells Daniel to bring her the heart diamond in exchange for Merritt McKinney. Sometime later, Veronica can be seen talking to the audience that came to her event about the new car she is to introduce to her motorsport team. The trio of Charlie, Bosco, and June set out to create a distraction, as demanded by Daniel. June, with her sleight of hand, takes a tag off an official, which Charlie and Bosco both tender to have access to the new car that Veronica is having an event for. When the Horsemen arrive at Veronica's, they give her the heart diamond, which she gets checked to verify its authenticity, before releasing Merritt back to them. Just then, Veronica hears the revving of her new car's engine and watches it speed off from where it is parked, creating the distraction that Daniel asked for. Veronica instructs Lethabo to get her car back, and immediately after saying this, Veronica turns her attention to the Horsemen, who she knows are responsible, and opens up a trap floor beneath them, sending them down and trapping them. Elsewhere on the racetrack, Bosco is being chased after taking the Vanderberg's precious car. When the Horsemen who fell through the trap floor all come around, they realize that they are in a cage with no way out. Veronica comes towards them, elated that she has the Horsemen under lock and key. After speaking to them for a bit, she starts to release sand on them inside the cage from above, which, when filled, would kill them. After Veronica leaves the Horsemen, she speaks with the strange man again on the phone, telling him that she has what he is after, and they fix a meeting place as she heads over to her secret vault, 70 stories underground in the Arabian desert, where she keeps her most precious items. Back on the racetracks, Bosco is having the time of his life being chased by the police around the city of Abu Dhabi, and not too long after, he comes to a halt and gets arrested by the Abu Dhabi police before being taken away by Vanderberg's men, who disguise themselves as Interpol. Elsewhere, inside the death cage, an idea comes to Daniel as he realizes that they can use water to get out of their current predicament. Jack hangs on to the top of the cage and reaches out towards the pipe above their cage using Merritt's belt. Not too long after, they break the pipe, and water comes gushing into the cage. Still not being free and with a large volume of water coming into the cage, an idea comes to Daniel, and he asks Henley to use her diamond ring to break the glass. After Henley tries it for a period of time and with the others kicking at the glass, it shatters, freeing the Horsemen from their cage. After being arrested, Bosco, inside the Interpol van, dislocates one of his fingers to free himself from his handcuffs. After doing so, Bosco wrestles with Veronica's men and, after some time, defeats them and gets out of the van. When Veronica arrives at her secret vault, she meets the stranger she has been talking to over the phone. In exchange for the heart diamond, Veronica asks for the evidence, and Charlie steps out from the shadows, telling her that he is the evidence, the child of the housekeeper Veronica's father slept with, whom she killed. Veronica is stunned by this revelation, but goes ahead to shoot at Charlie Vanderberg, her half-brother, after handing him the heart diamond. Charlie falls to the ground, and as soon as Veronica nears him to take the diamond, Charlie pulls it away from her grasp. Veronica takes a few steps back, shocked, as she shot Charlie at point-blank range. When Charlie gets up, he tells her that it is a bullet-catching trick, and as Veronica keeps on shooting at him, a veil is taken off to reveal that they are not in the Arabian desert, but on a stage with the crowd watching the show that they had planned out before flying to Abu Dhabi to get Merritt, and exposing Veronica in the process, for what she is. Charlie introduces his friends to the crowd before introducing the 5 horsemen. Charlie Vanderberg takes his time to explain how he pulled off and masterminded the whole trick and plan to the crowd, sending out the cards to the 4 horsemen, fooling Veronica into thinking she is in the Arabian desert, amongst other things. When Charlie finishes his explanation, Veronica is taken away from the stage, and the horsemen, now 8 in total, take a bow in front of the audience and bid them goodnight. After the whole ordeal with Veronica, the horsemen celebrate it before receiving a package from an unknown source. When they open the package, they see a puzzle that needs solving, which Jack solves. After solving the puzzle, a hologram of Dylan Shrike is projected, welcoming the trio of Charlie, Bosco, and June to the eye and telling the original horsemen that there is much work to be done, as it is just the beginning. In the end, Veronica was exposed for what she truly is in front of the world, and Charlie got his sweet and well-deserved revenge. Seeing as Dylan Shrike sent them a message, what do you think would happen to the now expanded horsemen going forward? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, guys. Peace out.